Welcome to the Zoom performance of Persecution, the Trial of Colin Stagg, a drama in 5 parts performed over 3 dates by the Outcasts Creative Theatre Company. This performance will stream via YouTube and is subject to technical difficulties. If these do occur, we will attempt to resume the streaming as soon as possible. The cast includes 2 actors who will cover any of our cast who may lose their connection. Narrators will not put on their cameras during the reading. You will only see those actors on camera who are playing characters who are appearing in scenes at that point in the narrative. Persecution, previously called Pressure in earlier drafts, is based on a 5-part television drama series that was first written in 2008 and has since been adapted for a Zoom performance. It tells the true story of Colin Stagg, the man who quite wrongly became the prime and subsequently the only suspect in the first police investigation into the murder of Rachel Nickell, a 23-year-old woman who was murdered on Wimbledon Common in the summer of 1992. Colin Stagg's ordeal ran over nearly 2 decades, and many characters and events could not be included even in a narrative with multiple episodes. Please be aware this performance contains descriptions of violence, bad language, and scenes of a sexual nature that would not be suitable for children. Parental discretion is therefore strongly advised. For today's performance, the role of Suzanne will be played by Jennifer Preston, who will be standing in for Fiona Murphy. At the end of the final episode on Sunday the 8th of November, there will be a Q&A with the cast and creative team. Thank you for watching, the Outcasts Creative Team.
Persecution, the Trial of Colin Stagg, Episode 3. The following dramatisation is based on true events that took place in southwest London between the years 1992 and 2009. For clarity, some composite characters have been used and the chronology of certain events have been amalgamated for simplicity, and some scenes created for dramatic purposes. We open on Dell's Cafe in Hyde Park. The weather is grey and rainy. Lizzie James is waiting next to the entrance of the spacious Dell Cafe, perched on one end of the Serpentine. Lizzie carries a Marks & Spencer's bag. She is wearing a microphone, which looks like a Walkman.
I wish you'd bloody hurry up. So much for a sunny day.
Around the cafe and the Serpentine are numerous officers from SO10, along with several detectives from the team. DS Holland and WPC Stollard, in plain clothes, sit in the cafe. DC Long is disguised as a jogger, while Davis and Williams pose as a couple along the edge of the Serpentine. We cut to the edge of the park in the park ranger's hut. Wickerson and Pedder are seated at a table with a pair of binoculars.
Just be patient, everyone. Stag's already here. He's just gone for a walk around the Serpentine. He should be coming back into view any minute. Now.
We cut to the north of the Serpentine, where nearby DC Lyle is disguised as a rubbish collector.
Echo 3, I've got him. He's entering towards the cafe now.
We cut back to Dell's Cafe. Colin sees Lizzie and slowly walks towards her, trying his best to hide his nerves with a smile. Lizzie smiles as she approaches.
You must be Colin.
Yeah, you must be Lizzie.
Yes. Should we go get something to eat?
I'm glad you said that. I got it really early. I'm starving. Can I take your coat?
Stagg takes her coat, opens the door, and they find a table overlooking the lake inside. We cut to a point of view down binoculars. The meeting is observed by an officer from across the lake.
James has made contact with the target. They're entering the cafe. All units stand by but maintain cover.
To Dell's Cafe, Serpentine. In front of Colin and Lizzie are 2 small bottles of wine and half-eaten meals of fish and chips. Colin has opened a birthday card and discarded wrapping paper lies next to 2 presents, a Walkman stereo and a baseball cap. Colin tries it on.
Thanks for the presents and the card. This is the first time I've eaten out since my dad died.
It looks good on you, the cap.
Oh yeah, thanks. I don't really wear caps very often. I get really hot. I can't even wear long sleeve tops. I'm so warm-blooded.
Oh, that's why you like the whole naked sunbathing thing.
Actually, yeah. And to get a good tan.
So, I was telling you about this group I was involved with.
Oh, yeah, the witchcraft thing.
Yeah, that's it. So, there was a group of us all aged about 12 to 18. And we had to take part in this group sex with part of the initiation with the older members. I felt dirty, but really it excited me. But what I wanted to share was something awful that I've not really been able to tell anyone, not since I met you.
Oh, right.
We had to take part in this ritualistic killing. it was a young mother and a newborn baby, and we had to cut the baby's throat, and they put the blood in this cup. I hope I'm not putting you off your lunch.
No, the fish is cold, the chips are right. Sorry, carry on.
So we all had to drink from this cup, and the atmosphere, it was electrifying. It was, I don't know how to describe it, mixed feelings, like being drunk, and it was like everyone was acting like they were really, really drunk. And there was this woman laid out on this thing, and the man came round with knives, and I cut the woman's throat. I cut it, and I drank from the cup. I drank her blood. And then we all had an orgy, and I had sex with this man, and I had the best sex ever, better than anything you could imagine. Of course, I did feel terrible remorse afterwards, and I did manage to get away from the group, but I've just found it really hard to have relationships with men. I think because I'm trying to recreate that fizzle from that night, and I don't know how to do it. But that's why I think I could have this with you, Colin, with our thoughts and fantasies being so similar.
Okay. I mean, I do have an open mind about everything, and we've all got our secrets and our past, I guess. But I could never do anything like that. I have my beliefs, and they don't involve human sacrifices. I'm sorry.
I was hoping that we'd be on the same level.
Well, I thought of those letters and fantasies that I wrote showed you that we were.
Well, they do partly, but I just know there's more to you than that. If you could just show me, I know we'd be soulmates.
Well, we are in a way. I've been through some bad times, and I know what it's like to not be able to communicate with people, to feel alone. And it sounds like you do too.
But I want someone who can excite me, someone that's been through the same sorts of things that I have, someone like the person that did that murder near you. That would really turn me on.
Didn't have anything to do with that. I never could have.
No, I've got to be at work in an hour, so I better go get my cab.
Okay, yeah. Do you want me to walk you to taxi rank?
We cut to the Hyde Park pathway. Stagg and Lizzie walk arm in arm.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for one of your fantasy letters that you said you'd write me.
I will do. I'll write one in the next letter. Now I've met you, I'll find it easier to confide in you. Just as long as you do the same to me.
I actually wrote you another one as a present. I tried to include all the things that you said you'd like.
Stagg produces a letter from his pocket, which Lizzie swipes eagerly.
Thanks, Colin. Well, ring me at the same time on Monday and I'll let you know what I thought of it.
She jumps into a cab and doesn't look back, drawing a huge sigh of relief as Colin watches her departure.
We cut to the incident room, Wimbledon police station evening. Pedder is on the phone to Britain holding the latest Stagg fantasy letter. Behind him, other members of the team are being handed out copies around the office.
He's only gone and mentioned the fucking knife.
Yes, I read the latest letter you sent me.
It's amazing. Just like you said, I don't know how you know so much about him. We're going to fax it over to you right now.
Yeah, well, it's consistent with what I would expect to find with the masturbatory repertoire of the killer, and of course it contains elements of the murder of Miss Nickell.
So what are the chances that this guy is really our killer then?
We cut to the conference room, Norbury Police Station. Around the table sit several top brass from the Metropolitan Police, including the Deputy Assistant Commissioner, CPS lawyer, and the SO10 Commander. Pedder and Wickerson are also present, along with Paul Britton. The table is covered with documents and photos.
So you're all convinced that this Colin Stagg is our killer?
Well, the chances of there being two such men fitting my profile on Wimbledon Common when Rachel Nickell was murdered are incredibly small.
We feel that Stagg is just one step away from confessing to the murder. He's already given away several bits of information that we feel only the killer would have known.
Yeah.
Enough to charge him?
Well, not yet, sir. But as we say, we feel it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, our operative Lizzie James is scheduled to meet with him again next week.
Do we think that this meeting will bear the required fruit?
Hard to say, sir, but our officer is convinced that he will get suspicious soon if things don't go further between them on a physical level.
Indeed. I see the operation has been going on for, 3.5 months now?
That's correct, sir, yes.
Well, obviously taking time to establish the relationship between the operative and Stagg has required several weeks.
Quite. Though this is taking considerably more time than you originally suggested. I'm sure you're aware Operation Edsel 2 has already cost the Met a considerable amount of money.
Yes, sir.
The media aren't going to let this one go. What we need now is a good result, and we need it soon, gentlemen. I think we can afford to continue until, say, the end of summer. Do you think we can wrap up the undercover operation by then?
I would think so, sir, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Well, I'll let you get on with it then. Keep me updated. Mick, hold on a second.
I'll see you downstairs. Yes, sir.
Now that John Bassett has been seconded to other duties and John Bassett has retired, you're confident that D.I. Petty can bring this the right result on this one?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Very well. Thank you, Mick. That'll be all.
Sir.
We cut to a phone box on the Alton estate. Colin is in mid-conversation with Lizzie.
Didn't you like the story? I thought that was the kind of thing you wanted.
It is, Colin. It's just, I feel I can only have a relationship with a man who's done something like what I told you about.
If I'd done something like that, I would have said so, but I'm sorry, I've never done that kind of thing.
Well, I'm going to have to think about it.
You're going to turn me down, aren't you?
If only it had been you, Colin, that had done it.
I'm sorry, I'm not the man for you. Oh, are we going to meet again?
I'll think about it.
Let me write you another letter, yeah?
Stagg walks away from the phone box, looking despondent.
We cut to incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. Pedder arrives again with Stagg's latest letter.
On the good news or the bad news?
Well, some good news would be nice for us, Gov.
Stagg has confessed to a murder in the New Forest, a 13-year-old girl. He says he and his cousin killed her when they were just kids.
Really?
Yes! I told you it was our guy, didn't I?
Except we get him. It's 20 quid you owe me, Sarah.
Mm.
Hang on. What's
It's
the bad
bollocks.
news?
It's bollocks. He made it up. I've been on to CID in the New Forest. They haven't had any disappearances in that time, let alone a murder.
Men will say anything to get a shag. I
Yeah.
could have told you that.
We cut to meeting room, Norbury Police Station. We're in a non-script training room with Lizzie James and Britton when Pedder enters with DC Long and the ASO 10 officer.
We've just finished recording the tape, and Lizzie, you did an excellent job. I think it has all the elements required to get Stagg to ascend to the next level.
What tape is this?
We're granting Stagg's request and sending him one of Lizzie's fantasies on tape.
Gov, I was wondering, what if he plays it to someone else or makes copies of it?
No, I shouldn't think that's very likely. He'll consider it a very personal gift, basically a very personal and intimate gift for him.
But besides, when we're ready to break off contact, we'll make up a reason to ask for it back.
Okay, and how soon do you think before I can break off contact?
By the end of next week, hopefully.
And how should I respond about this murder that he's made up?
Well, don't say you don't actually believe him, but tell him you think he wants to tell you more, perhaps about something else.
Okay, and if that doesn't work?
Well, let's say how he responds to the recording, yeah?
We cut to Stagg's flat, Alton Estate. A padded letter is posted through Stagg's door. He recognises the handwriting and tears it open, revealing it to contain an audio tape and a letter. He puts the tape in his Walkman, pressing play. The contents form a voiceover which bleeds into the next scene.
You lead me into the woods, and I am happy to be led by you. I am filled with animal passion and begin to beg you to fill me up.
We cut to the Serpentine in Hyde Park. The recording forms a voiceover as Stagg walks through Hyde Park, listening to it on his Walkman.
You tell me to shut up and wait. You've got other things on your mind. You open my skirt and pull it down. Wank yourself, you shout. Show me what's on offer. This wondrous thought is interrupted by a sharp noise.
It's a sunny day and the park is full of people sitting all around the lake. As Stagg slowly approaches the lake, he is looking for Lizzie but cannot see her. He is being observed all this time by several undercover officers.
I see a young woman about 10 yards away. She's about 19 with blonde hair and a shapely body. Don't worry about her, you say. I know what she needs. Why don't you come on over? Come and join us, you say to her. So she comes on over. I rip off her shirt and she lies on her back beneath me. I pull down her shorts in one swift movement. Suddenly, I hear this unmistakable sound of a zip being yanked. I turn to look, and there you are with your cock in your hand. With one hand on your large member, you reach behind your back and you pull out something that's tucked in your jeans. It's a knife. To see your hands on two powerful swords really makes me pant.
Colin spots Lizzie in the park and gives her a wave.
All units stand by. Target's about to make contact.
Echo 3 to control. Eyes on target and James will stay close by.
Holland and Long walk nearby, posing as a couple. We cut to the Serpentine in Hyde Park. In a gentlemanly gesture, Colin puts his jacket on the ground to allow Lizzie to sit on the grass.
So, what did you think of the tape? Was it worth the wait?
Yeah, I loved it.
And what did you think about the knife play? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it all.
I really loved the letter that you sent me in return about the kidnap and everything. Oh, that really excited me.
It's good. I'm glad. I want you to be fulfilled in this relationship. What did you think about the other one, with my secret in?
Well, your story about the New Forest was a little vague. I told you everything about mine, and that wasn't just some childish murder. It's as if you don't trust me. I want you to tell me more. I don't want to hear things like we were 12. That's like a childish prank gone wrong. That's not what I'm after. You're living in the mistake of it, in the guilt of a mistake. I'm living in the glory of it.
I thought that's what you wanted to hear.
Colin tries to put his hand on Lizzie's leg, but she brushes it away from her.
I don't know, Colin. Perhaps we're just not right for each other. I mean, it's just with that Rachel Nickell murder, the one that happened near you.
God, yeah, how could I forget?
Well, I just wish you had done it. I just think that would be brilliant, knowing you'd done it and got away with it. Screw them.
Well, I didn't do it. I saw the naked picture, though, when they arrested me.
What was that like? Did it turn you on?
Well, I suppose so, yeah. I mean, I had a hard on when I was looking at it, sort of.
Cool. So what was she like? The body, I mean.
Well, she'd been raped and she was totally naked, I could see, and that she'd been forced open and there was blood all over the floor. She was very wide, so I guess the guy must have really forced her open, It was pretty horrible. I mean, it turned me on at the time, though.
Maybe you could take me to the murder scene where it happened and we could do what the man did to her.
I don't know the exact spot that it happened. I've got a rough idea, though.
Maybe you could bring a knife with you?
I don't carry knives out in public. I told you that before, but I suppose I could for you.
Stagg goes to kiss her, but she turns her head and gets up, brushing down her dress.
I better get going.
I'll call you, though, yeah?
Yeah, if you like.
Stagg walks off.
Christ, why can't I meet someone normal? That girl is batshit crazy.
We cut to the car park on the M1 services. July 5th. James, Wickerson and Pedder exit their car and heading towards the services building, talking as they do so.
If I ever have to see Lester again after today, it'll be too soon.
Yeah, and perhaps our good Dr. Britton can steer us towards a positive result for this next meeting.
Oh, I think I've pushed Stagg as far as he can go before he gets suspicious.
Paul was fairly certain he'll come clean after your next meeting.
Well, I'll do whatever it takes, Gov, you know that.
Yeah, well, let's just, see what he has to say about the last contact first, okay, before we make any rash decisions.
The three of them walk towards the services station entrance.
We cut to service station foyer. Inside the services, their attention is drawn to the newsstand, and Wickerson notices immediately the front page of the Daily Star with a picture of Colin Stagg above which are the words in bold type, "I didn't kill Rachel."
Well, looks like Stagg's already having his say.
Shit. He's only gone and done a bloody interview with him.
Pedder picks up the newspaper and is stunned to see that the article, Lizzie looks closer at the picture taken in Stagg's front room, then notices her picture on the shelf in the photo.
Jesus, that's the bloody photo I gave him. That's me in the picture.
Yeah, but come on, look, it's tiny. You can hardly see it. Look, we made sure we only showed half your face anyway, so it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
If someone could blow it up, they might recognise me. God, I need to go use the ladies.
James exits the foyer and heads to the toilets.
Oh, this, Keith, is a bloody nightmare.
What the hell can we do about it?
We cut to anteroom, Leicester Crown Court. James Pedder and Wickerson all sit facing Britton as he reads the newspaper. He's dunking a chocolate biscuit.
See, minimise the damage. That's all you can do.
I suppose we should have expected the papers to do something like this.
Well, get straight on the phone to him and tell him that you're upset, that you opened your heart to him and he's put everything in jeopardy by talking to the media. He may give you more information on the murder by the way of an apology, but make it clear you need reassurances if the relationship is to continue.
Play down his problems and build mine up.
Exactly. But you should place the onus to be on him, to reassure him that his actions have not placed you in jeopardy.
I'm sure I can manage that. I'm good at making people feel guilty. Just ask my husband.
So, Paul, what do you think of his latest letter and the recordings of the last two meetings?
Well, his fantasies are further evidence of his serious sexual deviancy. The themes and fantasies are all entirely consistent with the person who murdered Rachel Nickell.
And when he tries to kiss me again, how do I handle that? Much the same as before?
You'll have to handle the next meeting with a combination of positive attractions and appropriate reserve. But I think it's clear that this meeting will have to be your last.
Good.
We cut to the Serpentine in Hyde Park. Colin and Lizzie are sitting in the same place by the lake as before. Colin looks less at ease this time. Both of them have copies of the Daily Star on the grass beside them. Nearby, DC Long and WPC Stollard, both in plain clothes, are passing close by.
I didn't realise you'd be so angry. You don't understand. Everyone everywhere thinks I did it, killed that poor girl. You can't imagine what that's like. I get spat at, shouted at, sworn at, threatened pretty much every day. Look, I had to do something to even up the odds in my favour. I didn't even think your photograph was in the picture they took. I'm sorry. I hope you liked the little present I sent you.
The letter? Oh yeah, it was fine. Thanks.
Great. I thought that would be what you wanted.
So have you written me another one of your little specials?
Another? Well, no, I could though if you wanted for next time.
Why have you marked your copy of the newspaper with biro, Colin?
Lizzie gestures at the copy of the Daily Star article that Colin has brought, noting the words he has circled.
It's where they got things wrong. No surprise there. You know what the press are like. I thought if I did this story, then they'd leave me alone, but I didn't even take a penny for it. And the other papers, they just write whatever they want anyway about me.
Colin takes a swig of his drink and tries to run his hand along Lizzie's leg, but she immediately pulls away.
I want someone like the man that did this. This whole thing fascinates me. I find it so exciting.
Wish it was me who'd done it, you know.
Tell me, how was she? How was the body?
Do we have to talk about this?
Please, Colin.
Well, in the photograph, she was kind of like...
Colin arranges himself on his left side on the ground with his knees drawn up to his body, his legs up and his hands out side by side.
Are you getting this? He looks like he's showing how the body was laid out.
Yeah, we'll have him now for sure. Look, can anyone get any pictures?
Can't get an angle from here.
Has anyone else got a camera? No? Fucking marvellous.
And where was she open again? Her fanny or her asshole?
Fanny. So, how have you been? How's the new job?
Boring. Your letters to me have become more and more explicit. They're fantastic. I just only wish you had done more stuff like me.
I'm sorry, I haven't. You make me wish I had.
I want you to treat me like that man treated her.
I told you before, I'm not into hurting people.
But if you're not into hurting people and you haven't done that kind of stuff, then how can you ever fulfill me, Colin? I'm just going to go through my whole life, time and time again, getting hurt.
Maybe we should call it a day, yeah?
Fine, because I've got to go. I don't want you to see me cry.
You still want me to ring you?
If you like. But make sure you send me that tape back because I don't know if I can trust you with my secrets anymore. Bye, Colin.
As he walks off, Colin heads off in the other direction.
Fuck this, man. All this for a bloody shag. Christ, she is a fucking lunatic.
We cut to the incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. Everybody on the murder squad is present. They all sit quietly looking on into the conference room, where through the glass wall we can see Pedder, SO10 officer, Wickerson, Bassett and Brisson conversing with lawyers from the CPS. The discussion looks heated and animated. We cut to inside the conference room.
Look, I really think he was on the tip of telling our officer everything. If we could just facilitate one more meeting between them, I really think we can get...
I'm afraid I feel that the upper time limit for this operation has certainly been reached. From what I can see, I think it is now unlikely that Stagg will confess to this murder.
In fact, he has done quite the opposite and has constantly denied killing Miss Nickell.
And this recent article in the Daily Star is rather unfortunate.
Most unfortunate. This part of the operation alone has already run into excess of 1,700 pages of documentation.
And now that we have it on good authority that the press have got wind of the undercover operation itself, I don't think we have much of a choice but to draw things to a close.
I have to agree, and I think in any event, the covert operation has run its course. I don't want to put my officer in any further danger.
And this investigation is already close to being the most expensive of its kind ever undertaken.
I understand, sir. The question really remains, do you think we have enough to charge him?
There's a pause as the two CPS lawyers look through their notes. They then look up at Pedder and Wickerson. We cut to the incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. Everyone exits the conference room with all the team looking on.
Well, boss, what's the verdict?
Okay, everyone. Let's pick him up.
Yes!
Come on. That's one, go. Go on.
We cut to Stagg's flat at Alton Estate in Roehampton, 17th of August 1993. A small army of police arrive at Stagg's flat. Pedder leads the team, knocking furiously at the door. Stagg opens it.
Colin Stagg, I'm arresting you in connection with the death of one Rachel Nickell. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you omit anything that you later rely on in court.
You have to be crazy. You're setting me up for this.
I've never set anyone up for anything in my life.
I'm bloody innocent. I'm going to lose my home and my dog. The man who did this is laughing at you. You do know that, don't you? He's laughing.
With his neighbours watching on, Colin is taken away. Richard and Cheryl appear at the door.
He's been proper fitted up for this, like.
Yeah, I think you're right, love.
We cut to interview room 1, Wimbledon Police Station. Colin is seated with his new lawyer, the dashing Alex Douglas Jones, across from Pedder and DC Long.
Colin, you're here because of the events of the 15th of July, 1992. That's just over a year ago. Can you remember anything you were doing on that day?
No comment.
Tell us about your sexual fantasies, Colin.
No comment.
Is that all you're going to say to us, Colin?
No comment.
You see, I don't really need you to answer that question, Colin, because I already know your dark secrets. All your filthy, dirty, sordid little thoughts.
No comment.
Colin says nothing. Pedder scratches his ear.
Look, clearly my client has nothing further to say at this time, Detective. Is there anything else?
I'd like you to meet a friend of mine, Colin, an officer from SO10. That's our undercover branch. Of course, you would know her by another name, Lizzie James.
The door to the interview room opens and Lizzie James comes in, dressed somewhat more formally.
Hello, Colin. Yes, I'm a serving police officer. For the purpose of this interview, I shall be known as Lizzie James. Haven't you got anything to say to me, Colin?
No comment.
I'd like to have... Can I go through the wording in your letters, Colin?
No comment.
Is that all you're going to say to me, Colin?
No comment.
Is it like the letter, Colin? Is that what happened to Rachel? You see this gorgeous blonde woman looking down from your vantage point on the common, and you rushed down and you ambushed her.
No, I didn't.
And you pushed her little boy's face down into the mud. Then you committed your savage attack.
No comment.
I want a moment to talk to my client, please, Detective.
Well, I'm sure he would like one. Just to let the gravity of his situation sink in.
Colin scornfully watches Pedder, Wickerson and James exit. On the other side of the one-way mirror, we see Britton stand watching the interview.
They'll be formally charging you before the magistrate tomorrow. And with a serious crime of this nature, it will be at least 9 months before it comes to court, perhaps longer.
Can I get bail?
I'll try, of course, but for this type of crime, it's unlikely.
You mean I have to spend all that time inside in a prison? But I haven't done anything wrong. Christ, I'm not a murderer.
I know, Colin, I know. Look, I will do whatever I can. You just need to stay strong.
We cut to the dock, Magistrates Court, London. Stagg stands in the dock.
But you, Colin Stagg, did on July 15th, 1992, murder Rachel Nickell on Wimbledon Common, contrary to common law.
We cut to incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. A champagne cork pops and Pedder holds a bottle filling glass after glass for the members of the team.
Well done, everyone, and well done, Keith. Good job.
Yay!
Great job.
Everyone.
We cut to the rear entrance of the Magistrates Court in London. Stagg is led out of the court to the waiting securities van to the flash of dozens of cameras. He looks completely broken as the cameras flash away at him.
We cut to incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. As glasses are raised and jokes exchanged among the people joining the team celebrations are Paul Britton and Lizzie James, though notably she avoids talking to Britton.
Oh, thanks, Paul. We couldn't have done it without your help.
Well, you have your man, but he's not convicted yet. Is the CPS certain that everything is legal and above board with the evidence?
No, don't worry about that, mate. We've had it checked and double-checked by the people at the top. I just hope it's enough to get us a conviction.
Don't be so pessimistic, KP. We'll get him. I'm sure of it.
We cut to a wooded area on Wimbledon Common. August 1993. A dog walker, Mrs. Smith, in her 40s, is walking her dog across the common when he runs into the undergrowth and begins digging and barking excitedly.
Sally! Sally, girl! Where are you? Come here, girl! Sally! What you got there, then?
Mrs. Smith puts her dog back on the lead and looks to see that she has uncovered a knife, still partially concealed by leaves and dirt. She produces a plastic bag and recovers it, holding it up, eyeing it with curiosity.
We cut to incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. As celebrations continue, Deputy Assistant Commissioner enters, wearing his braided uniform, causing Pedder and Wickerson to promptly put down their drinks.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about the little breach of health and safety. So I thought only the team. What with all their hard work, I mean, they deserved at least kind of a bit of...
a drink? Absolutely. Don't worry, Nick. I just wanted to offer you, Keith, and the rest of the team my congratulations. I heard that Stagg has just been remanded in custody.
Yes, this will give the bastard something to think about until his trial, eh?
Yes, indeed. Perhaps he'll even change his plea. Who knows?
No, I wouldn't count on that. These types will usually protest their innocence until the end.
Well, congratulations, and well done, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
We cut to a police station in London. Mrs. Smith hands in the knife at an unknown police station.
Oh, hello, officer. Look, I found this on Wimbledon Common. Well, actually, my dog did. But I've been very careful not to touch it. I just thought it might be relevant to that murder of that poor girl last year.
Oh, thank you, love. I think we've got the person responsible for that crime. But if you don't mind waiting, I'll have someone come and take it from you, and you could take a statement.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm quite happy to wait. Thank you. Just here.
We cut to incident room, Wimbledon Common Police Station. The celebrations which are still continuing.
Right, well, time to face the cameras, and then I'll have a meeting with the Commissioner and the CPS. Keith, Mick, can I have a word?
They go into a side room away from the noise.
Yes, sir?
We're not going to get egg over our faces on this one, are we?
No, sir. Trust me. This is our man.
I have full confidence in Keith and the team, sir.
Good. Good. It's just everything that's going on with this Stephen Lawrence murder, we can do without another PR disaster. Still, with you being the leader and inspector on this one, Keith, well, getting us to win certainly won't do your career with us any harm.
Oh, thank you. That's good to know, sir. Thank you.
Oh, and just one more thing. Someone from your team is talking to the press.
Really? Well, how do you know that, sir?
Because I've had a heads up from a journo friend of mine. It's going to be all over the papers tomorrow. Not just Stagg's arrest, the whole undercover operation. Lizzie James, everything!
Shit. That's not good.
No, it isn't. While giving them the heads up occasionally can be helpful in some circumstances, someone has overstepped the mark this time. We have to think very carefully about how this will play out in the eyes of the public.
Of course, sir. I understand. Look, leave it with us.
And get this lot over to the pub before they start planting their backsides on the photocopier, will you?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
The commissioner exits.
All right, come on, you lot. Danny Alex. So I'm putting this round.
Yeah.
Come on, everyone.
To prison walkway to cell, Wandsworth Prison night. Supported by two unsympathetic prison guards, Colin carrying his clothing thrown to his cell.
Wanker!
Come on, gonna get your Stag. You're gonna get it. Look at him. You're gonna live the life here.
Some Stag.
Guard 1 puts him in his cell and shuts the door.
In you go then, Stag. It's going to be your own from now on, so you better get used to it. I will take them shoelaces off, please. Don't want you to do nothing silly now, do we?
Colin complies and then sits down on the bed, saying nothing. He is numb and in a complete state of shock. The cell door shuts with a heavy thud. We cut to Wandsworth Prison, September 1993, dining hall. Two prisoners, prisoner 1 and 2, converse in the foreground, observing Stagg queuing for his food. Although Stagg tries to maintain a nonchalant disposition, his presence immediately attracts attention from the others. They either ignore him completely or glare at him.
So, what do you think you're, Mr. Stagg, then?
He ain't no killer. Anybody can see that. Plus, that honey trap they set him up for, it's shite. It's the oldest trick in the book.
I agree. He's a fucking wimp. He's no killer. He doesn't have it in him. Anyone can see that.
It'll no be long before somebody takes a pop at him, though.
The prisoner serving Stagg's food spits into it before dumping it in front of Stagg.
Bon appetit, you cunt.
Stagg ignores him and goes to sit down, but everyone gets up from the table and leaves him on his own.
Put the word out. Make sure no one touches him until we've had a meeting to discuss it further.
Okay, are you sure, Terry?
Yeah. We don't want to be giving the place the sacrificial lamb now, do we?
No. Okay.
I better be right about you. Or I'll kill you myself.
We cut to a suburban street in Plumstead in southeast London. November 1993, 15 miles from Wimbledon Common. A young mother, Samantha Bissett, and her 4-year-old daughter, Jasmine Bissett, are arriving home just as it's getting dark. They go inside their ground floor flat on the quiet street, and we pull focus to a man wearing a hoodie, watching them from the other side of the street. He crosses over the road, stops to check the coast is clear, then opens the gate to the entrance and proceeds to the door. He pulls out a knife. We hold on his face. It's Robert Napper. His eyes have a crazed, vacant look about them. Pulling out a knife, Napper knocks them on the door. We cut to the same suburban street in Plumstead. The following day, a uniformed policeman stands outside Bissett's flat. An SOC photographer emerges from the door, throwing up violently in the street. Just as the car pulls up with D.I. Mickey Banks, D.I. John Pierce, who exit from the vehicle to speak to another Plumstead detective.
I can't go back in there. No way. Oh.
What's up with him? We got a body, have we?
It's worse than that, Gov.
Jesus.
I've never seen anything quite like it.
All right, detective. Have you made an ID on the victim yet?
Yeah, Samantha Bissett, 27, and her daughter, Jasmine. Both deceased, both sexually assaulted from what I can tell.
Shit.
It's like he's escalating, ain't he, Mick?
Yeah, it's got to be our guy, John. I think he's taking it to the next level.
Well, Gov, look, he's left a bloody footprint. Gov, whoever did this, he's taken her insides out, removed some of them from what I can tell. It's a real mess in there.
We best take a look then.
Yeah, let's go in.
Pierce and Banks exchange a look and prepare to go inside.
We cut to Recreational Hall, Wandsworth Prison. Colin is watching two cons, prisoner 3 and 4, playing pool. One of them moves 2 rounds towards him to take his shot.
Stagg, why don't you piss off and watch TV?
I prefer to watch you two play this.
Prisoner 3 snaps his cue up to Stagg's face.
Well, I prefer you out my face, you fucking wanker. Now get out of here before I use this pool cue and turn you to fucking hat stand.
Prisoner 4 looks up, noting prisoner 1 on the upper walkway, shaking his head.
I will not leave the cunt. Now, I'd like to know why no one's supposed to touch this bloody nonce.
He should just do us all a favour and fucking hang himself.
PG 2656 Stagg, you've got a visitor.
I don't have anyone scheduled for today.
Yeah, well, it's some woman. Well, do you want to see her or not?
We cut to visitors' room, Wandsworth Prison. Colin enters the visitors' area where sitting at one table is a man and woman who stand up seeing him. Colin is shocked. It's his mother and a new husband.
Hello, Colin. Long time.
Colin sits down hesitantly in front of them. Mrs. Carr, late 50s, overdressed and heavily made up, who sits with her husband, Dave Carr, 50s.
Mum?
You all right, Colin?
What, Colin?
Dave? Mum, what are you doing here?
I'm sorry, Colin, that I haven't been in touch. I wanted to, only things haven't been easy. I wanted to call to see how you was doing.
Why didn't you then? I could have done with your support months ago.
Oi, what's your mouth, son? You don't know what it's been like for us. Bloody press swarming all over the house, going for the bins and everything, yeah? Like a bunch of bleeding vultures they were.
What's that my fault?
You're the one who's doing here, though, ain't you?
I didn't do anything. They're framing me for this, Mum.
Are you sure, Colin? Because I would still love you if you had done it.
I'm not sure, Mum. Of course I am. Jesus, you don't know what it's like in here.
There's no bloody picnic for us out there, is it, mates?
Blame me. You weren't there for most of my time growing up, and then you haven't had anything to do with me since.
I think we should be probably going, Mrs.
Lee said he's been in to see you.
Yeah, him and Carol have been a few times.
Anyone else?
No. Why are you asking?
We're just concerned for you, that's all. Anyway, look, we best be on our way. We'll come next time, we'll bring some stuff for you, like fags and all that.
I'm sorry about before, Colin. I'm here for you now, aren't I?
Yeah, I suppose so.
We cut to newsroom, Daily Mail. A young reporter answers the phone.
Daily Mail news desk.
We cut to the Carr's house, London.
Hello. How much can I get if I can give you some information and personal photographs of Colin Stagg?
Mrs. Carr and Dave both sit at their phone. She holds a number of photographs of a younger Colin in her hand. We cut to Plumstead Police Station, Bissett Murder Inquiry Room. Night, October 1993. We're in a very similar room to the Nickell Murder Inquiry, but it's empty, except for 4 people. Keith Pedder, Paul Britton, D.I. John Pierce, and D.I. Mickey Banks. On the walls are the familiar photos and charts from the Bissett murder crime scene in her flat.
Samantha Bissett and her daughter, Jasmine, raped and murdered in their own home during the day. Now, in all my years of policing, I've never seen nothing like this. They were mutilated, organs were removed. It's just a crime so brutal. So I've got to ask myself, as a police officer, have we got another Jack the Ripper on our hands, Dr. Britton?
Well, I can see why you'd make that comparison.
Well, you see, I think that there's a lot of similarities, and this could be committed by the same man that did the murder of Rachel Nickell on Wimbledon Common on your patch, Keith.
No, I don't think so, Mick. We've got our man for that, and he's in Wandsworth, Nick, awaiting trial as we speak.
Yeah, I know, but look, some people on my team think that there's an awful lot of similarities, and there could be a link between the Green Chain rapist, the Nickell murder, and the Bissett murders.
Well, why would you think they're all connected?
You know these cases as well as we do, Mr. Britton. Look, we've had a number of rapes and assaults in parks and woodland walks in the area. Then an escalation to a violent rape that took place inside a house in front of the women's children, and that house backed onto a Green Chain walk.
Exactly.
Now we have a murder in the same circumstances.
Right. So you think the Green Chain rapist is escalating up to murder?
Look, it fits the pattern, Keith. I mean, we already know that a number of the rapes are committed by the same perpetrator. It's just that there's just too many coincidences with the Wimbledon Common murder. I mean, that would mean that you've got the wrong geezer banged up inside, of course.
Britton walks over to the investigation board.
Look, this isn't the work of the same man. In the Nickell case, her son Alex was not an object of fascination for the killer. And here the attack was frenzied and angry. Here the killer has taken his time. His pleasure is more in the post-mortem discoveries of the bodies than the actual killings themselves. The degree of frenzy in these two murders is not the same.
But Dr. Britton, surely, you can be as frenzied as you want in someone's house, can't you? You can't exactly be as frenzied as you like on Wimbledon Common in broad daylight. You can't take your time now, can you?
Look, in this murder, Jasmine, the daughter, was an important object of sexual gratification. In the Nickell murder, Alex was not. To me, that is the most significant difference. The demons that motivated the attacker in these two cases were clearly different.
Yeah, but on the Common, surely the perpetrator only had a very limited time to undertake his attack.
No, this is someone else.
So, Paul, we're off the hook then.
Well, if you're asking me if I think the two crimes were committed by the same man, then my answer would be that they were not.
I'm sure we've got the right man. Cheers for the call, then, Mick.
Good to see you again, Detective Inspector.
Yeah, good to see you, Keith. Cheers.
Good night, Keith.
Thanks, mate.
God, what a wanker. What a wanker.
I'll tell you, Gov, look, that Pedder's all right, but you don't know why we've got that doctor working on all of our cases, eh, boss? Why? I mean, I would have thought it was obvious to a blind man that these cases are linked.
Wasn't my decision to bring him in, though, was it? That came from them upstairs. Oi, who nicked all the bloody chocolate biscuits?
What?
We cut to Recreation Hall, Wandsworth Prison. Colin is watching the news on television, which is running a story about the Bissett murder when a prisoner, Hodgson, arrives with a mailbag and passes him a whole bunch of open letters.
There you go, Stagg. Your fan mail's arrived. You didn't expect not to get any letters with a case like yours, did you, mate? Trust me, all the freaks come out at night for someone like you, bruv.
We cut to visitor's room, Wandsworth Prison day. Colin is sitting opposite his lawyer, Alex Douglas Jones. Jones notices Colin's hand is bandaged.
So, how are you coping, Colin?
I thought I'd be dead by now, to be honest, but for some reason, some people seem to be leaving me alone, for the most part anyway.
And that?
Oh, I got burned by water. Accidents happen. So, any joy with my bail?
I'm afraid they refused again. I'll apply again next month, but I think you should prepare yourself to be spending Christmas in here. The hearing is scheduled for February, so let's focus on that. It also turns out that one of the witnesses on the Common who identified you that day is the wife of a police commissioner. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. So does that mean she could have been tipped off at my ID parade?
Who can say? Let's just concentrate on what we can prove for now.
Okay. Oh, you should have these. I'm getting my fair share of fan mail since I got here, but these two, they just don't feel right. You know, they're from a woman called Sandy Stevens. The first one came just a few days after I arrived. She says she was raped by a man holding a knife and that she finds it exciting. She sent me loads of drawings too. Says they're self-portraits, but they look a lot like Rachel Nickell to me.
Well, I can tell you, no rape victim is ever going to find that exciting, believe me. You haven't written back to her, have you?
No, God, no. No, of course not.
Good, don't. It sounds like Lizzie James all over again. Who are the others from?
Well, I've got 2 from some women on my estate. They both believe I'm innocent, which makes a change. There's some from a girl in Wales and some from a care worker, Diane, in Milton Keynes. They both seem harmless. I seem to be getting more female attention since I got in here than I did on the outside.
Yeah, with all the press you're getting, that does not surprise me.
Is it okay to write back to them?
Just make sure you show some caution, Colin, and don't make them sexual. No matter how frustrated you are, cases like this bring out all sorts of weirdos. I've seen it all before, and you do not want someone selling them to the papers.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll be careful, but these letters are all that's keeping me going right now.
I understand it's hard. All I'm saying is just, exercise some good judgment.
We cut to Samantha Bissett murder inquiry team. A Plumstead detective enters in an excited state with some news. DI Mickey Banks and John Pierce are both in the room.
Gov, that fingerprint we retrieved from the railings outside Bissett's home on the Plumstead. Yeah. We've got a match. And Gov, get this, he's already in our system.
Really? Let me have a look at that. Robert Napper. I remember that name. He was on file, wasn't he? Didn't someone question him before?
Yeah, he's got previous for rape, attempted rape, assault, breaking and entering, and his print matches a knife that was handed in.
Handed in? Handed in where?
Wimbledon, Nick, last summer.
Let me see that. Jesus Christ. It says here that he was asked to come back and give a blood sample.
Yeah, apparently we requested it twice.
Well, did he?
I don't know, Gov.
Well, fucking find out then, detective. Do some detecting.
Yes, boss.
Jesus Christ. Let me have a look at that, John. Yeah. Also, he was interviewed 1992. Right in this nick. We fucking had him right here. This guy, he's not just the Bissett killer. He's the green chain rapist, John. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, but that Paul Britton, he did the profiling on both those cases, and he never even suggested to us that they could be linked.
Oh, that guy's a fucking cockwarn. 300 quid an hour. Right. I want this done properly, okay? We collate all the evidence, make sure our case is 100% watertight. Only then do we pick this geezer up. You got it?
100%, Gov.
We cut to Colin Stagg's cell, Wandsworth Prison, evening. Somewhere in the corridors of Wandsworth Nick, a Christmas song is playing. Colin is sitting on the lower bunk, writing a letter. A pile of open letters lies close by. Hodgson appears at the open door.
Happy Christmas, Colin. You're not coming to association?
No, not today, mate.
I don't know what to make of you, Stagg. There you sit, writing your letters day after day. Sometimes you don't come out for association. Sometimes you don't even come out to the exercise yard. Most of us in here can't get enough time outside our cell, but you, as if you can't be bothered. So I asked myself, did this guy really commit this crime? Did he really murder that girl?
Don't think you're the only person in here asking that question.
You got that right, of course. Everyone in here always says they're innocent. They're framed up by the police. But you come in here saying nothing as if you don't care. But of course, I've been around here long enough to know that's all a front on your part.
I never was much of an actor.
Yeah, I could see the reality was you didn't know if you could handle it in here. You were scared shitless. Everyone comes in here and says they're innocent. But you, I think you actually might be.
Before Stagg replies, a guard appears at the door.
Those letters won't do you any good when you go down, Stagg. So why don't you just hang yourself one night, eh? Save that poor family the aggro of a trial.
The guard gives Stagg a smirk and walks on.
You see, now I know you didn't do it. When they want you to die that badly, they can say he couldn't handle the grief. He must have killed her. All sorted for them. Nice and tidy like.
Yeah, that'd be very convenient for him, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Let's not give him a satisfaction, eh? So, give us a gander at these. Which naughty bird you writing to today, then?
We cut to meeting room, Magistrates' Court. Colin is with his solicitor, Alex Douglas Jones, in a small, sparse, pine-panelled room. Jones's assistant, Kirsty, 30s, smart, well-spoken, enters. Colin is thinner and more gaunt than when we last saw him, the months in prison taking its toll.
Now, remember, whatever happens today, Colin, this is just the committal hearing, but it gives us the advantage of testing all the prosecution evidence before we go to trial.
It's all right for that Lizzie James or whatever her bloody name is, though, isn't it? I heard she gets to give evidence from behind the screen.
Well, we'll be able to see her, but the press are going to be disappointed. I hear it's all they're interested in writing about.
I think it's asking the press to show any objectivity on this case would certainly be banking for one miracle too many. But you've got Jim Sturman fighting for you in there today, Colin. Trust me when I say he is one of the best there is.
We cut to 17th of February, 1994, committal hearing, Wimbledon Magistrates' Court. Colin Stagg sits in the dock. In front sits the lawyers for both legal teams. Behind the prosecution sit several members of the investigation team, including Pedder and Wickerson. Pedder gives a nod up to Nickell's parents, who are sitting in the public gallery, which is packed full, including some of the inquiry team in the crowd. Paul Britton is also present, sitting towards the back downstairs. Bill Boyce QC and Nigel Sweeney QC represent the case for the Crown. Jim Sturman is ready for the defence. The magistrate, Terry English, is very scholarly in tone and demeanour.
Is the prosecution ready to make its case?
We are, Your Honour.
We cut straight to a montage of witnesses being sworn in.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
We cut to several different witnesses on the stand.
I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Well, of course I do, dear. I didn't come all this way just for the free lunch, you know.
And how would you describe Mr. Stagg?
We cut to several witnesses answering the same question.
Colin, well, yeah, he's a bit of a loner.
He always seems to be on his own. Well, that's when he comes to our butchers, or except when he's with his dog.
I've only ever seen him on his own. He simply must be the one who done it.
Stagg shakes his head in disbelief. Her response draws some laughter from the public gallery. It's Colin's barrister's turn, and we cut to Jim Sturman questioning witnesses.
Were you able to identify this man you saw on the common at the police lineup?
No, I wasn't.
Cut to Pauline Fleming answering the same question.
No, I couldn't identify him.
Cut to Jane Harriman answering the same question.
Yes, that's him. He's sitting over there.
But neither of your two older sons who were with you at the time were able to identify him, were they?
No, they were not.
Lizzie James takes the stand, shielded from everyone except the Stagg and his legal counsel.
If it pleases the court, I will just state for all those present, the witness, known as Lizzie James, is protected by the screens during the giving of her evidence, as she would be expected to be used in other undercover operations in the future, if my learned friend has no objection.
No, I have no objection, sir. Miss James, has any man ever lied to impress you?
Yes, they have.
In this operation, you were you not, trying to find out if my client would incriminate himself in the murder of Rachel Nickell?
No, I was trying to find out if he was implicated or not.
Well, that's certainly one interpretation. And the fantasy sex letters that you sent to Mr. Stagg, whose imagination had been at work in constructing their contents?
That was a joint effort between myself, Mr. Pedder, Mr. Wickerson, set within the guidelines set by Mr. Britton.
We cut to Paul Britton on the stand.
Mr. Britton, what scientific evidence do you have that your profile is identical to my client's persona?
None, but the likelihood...
Do you know if Colin Stagg is mentally ill?
I don't know. I've never examined him.
And if you never personally examined him, how on earth can you draw such positive conclusions? Does he suffer from any abnormalities within the terms of the Mental Health Act of 1974?
I don't know.
And how many murders of young women in broad daylight with a child present have you examined in your career?
None.
Now, you've been involved in working with the police on several investigations using offender profiling. Of these, how many were sexually motivated murders?
Somewhere in the region of, say, 10 to 20.
And of the offenders charged with these crimes, how many matched the profiles drawn up?
As far as I know, I haven't ever got a profile completely wrong.
Now, you admit you're involved in the planning of this Lizzie James operation from its inception and was one of its many guiding hands, were you not?
Yes, but...
And do you not think that Lizzie's letters were come-ons? Contrived to get my client to put down the wildest possible fantasy to paper? I mean, you'd have to be a moron not to know this woman was asking to be dominated. Is it no wonder Mr. Stagg responded the way he did?
Look, I saw nothing concerned with Mr. Stagg which indicated otherwise, and these were fantasies that were genuinely held by him. If he'd not responded to this operation, it would have had no value.
I see. So an accurate summary of your evidence to this court would essentially be, I am Britain, therefore I am right.
No, not at all.
We cut to DI Pedder on the stand.
After the retirement of John Bassett and the secondment of Mr. Wickerson to other duties, you were in charge of the day-to-day running of the Nickell murder investigation and the decisions taken to its direction, were you not?
Yes, that's correct.
The truth is it not, Detective Pedder, that you became so focused on my client at such an early stage, you failed to follow up other lines of inquiry?
No, not at all. This was an exhaustive and thorough investigation. We even went as far as Italy to interview one potential suspect.
I hope you didn't travel first class. And who was it, Detective Pedder, that tipped off the press that Mr. Stagg had been charged with indecent exposure after his first arrest? A tip which led to his picture being put all over the papers.
I assume a statement would have been issued by the Metropolitan Police Press Bureau.
I see. It must have been hard for your team not to become telescoped in one direction after such media publicity. In December of 1992, do you remember a report of a man seen by the Windmill car park, who was said could have been the twin brother of Colin Stagg?
I don't recall that specifically, no, but I'm sure I would have been informed about it.
And whose idea was it to put out a press release saying that identification was not an issue in the Stagg case?
Again, that was the Metropolitan Police Press Bureau. The view was that no further identity parades could be held because Mr. Stagg's picture had been published after he left court in September 1992. Any identification parade would have been evidentially worthless.
That is exactly my point. But you never did identify all the men cited on the common that day, did you?
Not all of them, no.
We cut to Wimbledon Magistrates Court. 28th of February 1994. Judge English enters and reads his summary.
I have listened to the arguments from both sides to this case and looked at the evidence very carefully. While the case for the defense has advanced an attractive argument as to the veracity of some of the prosecution's evidence, I feel these are more concerned with the weight that might be attached to it rather than its admissibility in a court of law. I am therefore committing this case to be bound over for trial by jury, a date to be set forthwith. We are adjourned.
Yes!
Guilty!
You're going down!
Guilty!
You're going down!
Guilty!
Gently, the prosecution.
You did it!
Application for bail is denied.
But don't give up hope, Colin. This will give us more time to undermine their case.
Please check on Brandy for me.
The despondent Colin is led away.
I've defended a lot of killers in my time, Mr. Jones, but I can honestly say I feel that your man is not one of them. Who's Brandy?
It's his dog.
We cut to Pedder and Britton talking as they exit the courtroom.
Oh, well done there, Paul. Sorry you kept on the stand for 2 days. You handled it really well there.
Yeah, well, I wasn't worried.
We cut to Colin Stagg's cell, Wandsworth Prison night. Stagg reluctantly arrives back into his cell.
See, I told you to be back, didn't I, Stagg?
The guard leaves and Colin sits back down on his bed and begins to shake and shed a few tears. We fade to black. End of part 3. Persecution trial of Colin Stagg. There will now be a 5-minute interval before part 4 begins.
Welcome back to The Persecution, the trial of Colin Stagg, Part 4. The following dramatisation is based on true events that took place in southwest and southeast London between the years 92 and 2009. For clarity, some composite characters have been used, and the chronology of certain events have been amalgamated for simplicity, and some scenes and dialogue created for dramatic purposes. It is May 1994, and we are outside the address of Robert Napper, southeast London. On a quiet suburban street, Robert Napper, 6'2" tall, dressed in a black hoodie and black trousers, walks with a distinctive stoop across the road. He passes a young woman and stops, turning around, his eyes lingering on her for a moment, watching her continue on her journey. Watching Napper in a parked car over the road are two men, Detective Superintendent Mickey Banks and Detective Inspector John Pearce. Banks speaks into his radio.
All units, stand by, eyes on target. He appears to be unarmed, walking towards his front door now. No one moves until I give the order. All units receiving?
Unit 2 and Unit 3 received and standing by, Gov.
Unit 4 received. We confirm visual on target.
Napper turns into the front garden of his flat, opening the gate and getting out his keys.
Okay, here we go. All units moving. Go, 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 go!
Go, go, go!
Banks and Pearce jump out of the car and race across the road, getting to Napper before he's got his keys in the door. Simultaneously, two police cars seal off each end of the street and several officers emerge from various locations, swarming around the house.
Robert Clive Napper.
Yeah?
I'm arresting you for the murder of Samantha and Jasmine Bissett in November 1993. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention, when questioned, something you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand that, son?
You took your time.
Cuff him and get him down the neck.
The uniforms march Napper off into a waiting police car. We cut to the inside of Robert Napper's flat. A squad of officers are turning Napper's flat upside down. The flat, no more than a large bedsit with separate bathroom and kitchenette area. It's untidy and full of junk. A stack of tatty pornographic magazine lies next to the bed. Banks and Pearce look through a pile of papers. One detective recovers a London A to Z guide. They flick through the pages, noting that the maps depicting the areas around southeast London are covered with markings and notes written in biro next to many of the commons and parks.
Hey, Gov. Hey, take a look at this.
Oh, you want to see this, John? It's got loads of places marked in here in biro. Green Chain Walk, women's names, times, dates, all sorts of stuff. I said it, didn't I? He's not just done the Bissett murders. This is the Green Chain rapist. I'm certain of it, 100%. I don't get it. This Napper, he was questioned way before, right? Somebody questioned him.
Yeah, but that was before you came on board, though, Gov. You know, and most of the victims described their attacker as being like 5'7" to 5'6" in height, and well, with Napper being 6'2", he was eliminated from inquiries.
That's right, boss. Plus, he had an alibi from that warehouse.
Yeah, an alibi that no one checked. Take a look at that, John. It'd be very easy, though, wouldn't it, for a witness, to get Napper's height wrong, because he kind of had that weird hunch, didn't he, as he was coming over the road, all hunched up like that.
Yeah, agreed. But that Paul Britton worked up the profiles on both the cases with us, right? Yeah, the rapes and the Bissett murder.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Beggars belief, doesn't it, that he didn't think the two could be connected by the same or committed by the same offender? I mean, really?
Yeah. Look at this, Gov. Have a look at this. He's got Wimbledon Common marked up in there. I think we should let the Nickell inquiry team know about this, don't you think?
Oh, I'll make the call myself, John. You know what they're going to say, though, don't you? They've already got their man.
We cut to Wandsworth Prison, summer of 1994, then into Stagg's cell. Hodgson arrives outside Stagg's cell to see him sitting on his bed looking very sombre. He speaks from the doorway.
I wasn't sure you were coming back, Colin. 11 days you've been gone. Long hearing, was it?
I can't believe this is really happening. I mean, innocent people, they really do go to prison, don't they?
Welcome to the real world, mate. Oh, I've got your mail for you. I had to censor it, of course. These ladies, they write some dirty letters, don't they? Kept me going for weeks. Who's this Lee Ashley then? She sounds like a proper nice lady.
Did you read all these?
Or most of them. In case you hadn't noticed, there isn't much to do around here.
Right, yeah. She lives on the estate and she lives in one of the tower blocks and she says she knows I'm innocent. I've never met her, but seen her around.
Kindness of strangers, eh, Stag? It's what keeps you alive in here sometimes. That Diane, she sounds like a bit of a goer. You sound like you want to promise there, mate. Sorry, the page's got a bit stuck on that one.
Yeah, nice. Thanks.
Oh, don't mention it. It says she was an ex-alcoholic, though, so I'd steer well clear of her if I was you.
Stagg takes the letter. Hodgson heads off. We cut to the visitors' room, Wandsworth Prison. Stagg sits nervously watching people enter. The last person to do so is Diane Beddoes, a fierce-looking woman, brown hair, mid-30s. She sits down opposite Colin.
Hello, Colin. It's me, Diane. I've been writing to you.
Diane, how did you get in to see me?
I told him I was your sister.
Well, it's lovely to meet you in person. I hope you're not too disappointed with the way I look. Only I'm losing so much weight in here. The food's barely edible.
Don't be daft. I knew what you were going to look like. You're in all the papers. So how are you?
Yeah, I'm better for seeing you. Best surprise I've had since I got here. And thanks for all your letters. I mean, you know, right now they mean just about everything to me.
That's okay. I'm glad you like them.
So your name used to be Rooney.
Yeah, Looney Rooney. That's what they used to call me in school.
I'm the one who feels like the lunatic right now. And I tell you what, if I stay in here any longer, I'm definitely going to turn into one.
Well, I know you didn't do it, Colin.
That's a coincidence, because I know that and all.
She takes his hand. A guard comes over.
No touching, Stag.
Sorry. Problem is, I'm not sure anyone else does, apart from my lawyer, that is. So, you still married then?
God, no. I ain't seen him in years. I just haven't got round to changing my name yet. I've brought you some fags.
Oh, thanks. There's not much chance of me giving them up in here, is there?
Just don't give up on getting out of here, Colin, because I'll be waiting for you when you do.
Sounds good.
We cut to the interior of Alex Douglas Jones' office in London. Alex Douglas Jones' assistant, Kirsty, comes into the room where he is sitting at his desk going through some papers.
Sorry to interrupt, Alex, but you're going to want to put the lunchtime news on. There's something I think you should see.
Douglas Jones grabs the remote and flicks onto BBC One to see a reporter holding an umbrella and a microphone, prefixed with a headline underneath of "Reporting from Leeds Crown Court." Douglas Jones turns up the volume.
But this was good news for greengrocer Keith Hall. The judge ruled that all the undercover evidence the police had gathered in their operation was inadmissible in their case against Hall. An alleged confession he made to the murder to an undercover policewoman was ruled out. Consequently, today Hall was cleared of murdering his wife and left court a free man.
Kirsty, get me a visit authorised to see Colin right away.
We cut to Paul Britton's car. With the radio playing in his car, Britton hears the same piece of news, listening with an expression of concern.
The question on everyone's minds now is, how will this affect other up-and-coming cases in the UK?
We cut to the private visitors' room in Wandsworth Prison. Alex Douglas Jones and his assistant Kirsty sit with Stagg in a private visitors' room.
So what does this ruling in Leeds mean for our case?
Maybe nothing, but it's going to have the prosecution worried, that's for sure.
But this Keith Hall bloke, people are saying he actually did kill this woman, right?
His wife.
His wife, right, but people are saying that he actually killed her.
Probably, Colin, but that's not the point.
Well, of course it's the point. I mean, I don't want people saying for the rest of my life, oh, there goes Stagg, he got off on some legal technicality, but he really killed her.
Colin, the judge's ruling in Leeds isn't a binding precedent. Each case will be dealt with on its own merit, but this certainly won't hurt us. Plus, it gives us more ammunition for an appeal if we need one.
I just really don't want this Mr. All guy and me sharing the same page of some book of people who got away with murder, you know? Like, do you know that they're moving me to Winchester next Monday? I only found out because some screw opened his mouth.
Winchester?
Hmm.
That's odd, especially for a Category A prisoner.
It's a prosecution tactic. Now that the trial date's getting closer, they're trying to minimize our contact because they know we need to prepare. But Winchester would be like paradise compared to Wandsworth. But I'll get you sent back here as soon as possible.
Okay, well, I'll treat it like an holiday away from this place then.
Plus, we have more good news. Tell him, Kirsty.
The report on your psychological tests are in, and it's all good news for you.
And these are scientifically recognized tests, Colin, not trumped up assumptions like the ones Britain comes up with.
Dr. Gudjonsson's conclusions revealed, and I quote, "I find no evidence of mental illness, personality disorder, or sexual deviancy in Mr. Stagg."
I could have told you that.
Yeah, it gets better. We have the report from Dr. Glenn Wilson from the Institute of Psychiatry on your correspondence with your friend Lizzie James. He makes several telling points, again, all of them in your favour, of course, and on the letters between you and Lizzie. You'll love this part. He says, Stagg was subjected over a long period of time to a process of prompting and selective reinforcement called operant conditioning, or more popularly known as brainwashing.
Whoa. Yeah. Brainwashing.
Yep.
You know what? Yeah, I have to say, I do love that part. And that's just the least of it. He points the finger squarely at Lizzie James and Britain influencing everything all the way.
This is great. Will their lawyers know about this?
Of course. We are legally obliged to disclose everything to them.
So maybe the police will start looking for the real killer then?
2 pieces of good news in one day is nice, but let's not get too greedy.
He's still out there somewhere, you know.
We cut to the interview room, Plumstead Police Station, day. Robert Napper sits across the table from Detective Banks and Pierce with his duty solicitor.
So, Mr. Napper, I have to inform you that we've recovered shoes from your flat that match a bloody shoe print found at the murder scene of Samantha and Jasmine Bissett. You got anything you want to say about that, Robert?
So, lots of people wear the same shoes.
We've also recovered your fingerprint at the Bissett address, Robert. So we know you were there.
No comment.
Look, Mr. Napper, we know about your previous conviction, okay, for rape in front of a woman's child, no less, in their own home. See, I think that wasn't enough for you anymore, was it, Robert? You had to escalate things. You had to go a bit further. So what I want to know is the Bissetts. And was that the first time you took things to the next level? Or have there been others before them?
No comment.
But the simple fact, Robert, is that we can put you at the scene of a murder and you're going down for a very long time. So, if there's anything else you want to tell us, now is the time.
Exactly, Robert. Just, get it off your chest. I mean, just unburden the load. Why did you kill them, Robert? Why?
The green people. They told me to.
What green people?
The people from outer space. They said it would make me well again.
Banks and Pierce exit the room, looking back at Napper.
It's funny, like, we've been after this guy all this time, and well, he's not what I expected at all.
Thing is, they never are though, John, are they?
We dissolve from Napper's face to the E-fit in the Nickell murder inquiry room. It's a dead ringer for him.
We cut to daytime in Pedder's office, Wimbledon police station. Pedder is on the phone talking to Britain.
Did you hear about the case?
If you're referring to the Leeds case, yes, I heard. Where do we stand?
It's being looked into by our top legal people. I'm sure the two cases aren't even remotely similar. Oh, by the way, congratulations.
On what?
Oh, didn't you hear? They the green chain rapist. Turned out he was the same bloke who did the murders on the Mickey Banks case. The murder of Samantha and Jasmine.
Yeah, and Jasmine Bissett. Yes, I remember.
Paul.
Yeah.
Do you think we should question him about the Nickell murder?
No, I doubt it will have any real value. And isn't Stagg's trial only a couple of months away?
We cut to Colin Stagg's prison cell, Wandsworth Prison. Colin is packing his things. Hodgson appears at the door.
Big day then, is it?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
You going to be all right?
I guess that depends on if you see me here again, doesn't it?
I've got another 7 years in this place, so either way, I'm going to be here. Good luck, mate.
Thanks. You too. You never did tell me why you're in here.
No, I didn't. You know what? I'll tell you if you come back, yeah?
Well, I hope I never have to find out then.
Yeah, me too, mate.
We cut to outside the Old Bailey, day. The press and public are present in abundance, putting the building under a state of siege. As one reporter speaks, we see various characters arriving, including Pedder, Wickerson, Rachel's parents, members of the murder squad, Colin's brother, Lee Ashley, and Colin's legal team.
Having heard the legal arguments from both the prosecution and defense as to the validity of the so-called honey trap evidence in the trial of Colin Stagg, Lord Justice Ognall requested a period of 3 days to examine it. He will give his ruling on the admissibility of that evidence in court today, evidence that is said to be crucial to the prosecution's case.
As Colin's van arrives, it's pursued by photographers. We cut to the anteroom at the Old Bailey, daytime. Kirsty holds up 3 brand new shirts for a nervous Colin to wear.
Which one do you want, Colin?
I don't know, you pick. Thanks for getting them for me.
Oh, it wasn't from me. They were from Miss Lee Ashley on your estate.
Douglas Jones appears at the door.
Okay, they're ready. Are you, Colin?
No, too late to do a runner, I suppose.
We cut to the inside of the Old Bailey. Everyone stands up as Lord Justice Ognall enters the room and takes his chair. A tall, formidable-looking man, carrying an unusually high amount of paperwork under his arm. All the different parties look on in anticipation as he motions for everyone to sit. Diane gives Colin a little wink and a smile from the gallery. He sits passively in the dock. Paul Britton is notable by his absence, but the detectives and Rachel's family and boyfriend are present in the court.
Murder of Rachel Nickell was peculiarly brutal, and it was suggested the murderer was a sexual deviant. In an effort to identify the culprit, the police had enlisted the services of a clinical psychologist, Mr. Paul Britton. Nobody questions that in certain cases, the assistance of a psychologist can be a very useful investigative tool. But in this case, the police went much further. In consultation with Mr. Britton, they set up an undercover operation which lasted 7 months. The accused was contacted by a female police officer through an old acquaintance and formed a liaison with the accused, allowing a relationship to develop initially through letters and telephone calls, and then by face-to-face meetings, all under the direction of psychologist Mr. Britton.
As Ognall continues, it dawns on everyone, including Stagg and his team, that this is not going the way everyone expected.
It was hoped within the development of this liaison that the accused might portray first his fantasies of the kind described by Mr. Britton, and secondly, in line with his prognosis, an admission of guilt. He expected such an occurrence to take place within a period of 2 to 16 weeks after the inception of the liaison. In fact, as we shall see, the liaison lasted for nigh on 28 weeks. The prosecution sought to persuade me that the object of the exercise was to afford the accused the opportunity either to eliminate himself from the inquiry or to implicate himself in the murder. I am bound to say I regard this description of the operation as highly disingenuous. It's very important to my mind to note that at no stage did the accused admit to being the murderer. Indeed, to the contrary, he repeatedly denied it, even when invited by Lizzie James to do so as a condition of continuing their relationship. He continued to say he was innocent of the offence.
Christ, this ain't good.
Telling me.
Moreover, in describing the nature of the killing as he understood it, in two very material respects, he got it wrong, stating that she had been raped, which she had not, and misdescribing the precise locus of the body on Wimbledon Common. In this operation, it would appear that Mr. Britton was pulling the strings, and it was his opinion, based on the material and his comparisons and conclusions, that the accused was identified as the murderer of Rachel Nickell. I'm not surprised that in quasi-common law jurisdiction, that such evidence has ever been treated as admissible in proof of identity. The accused was a desperate and lonely man who longed for a long-term sexual liaison with a woman. Lizzie James played upon that loneliness and those aspirations. She encouraged him to express his innermost fantasies. The more extreme, the better. The lengths to which this man was manipulated are evidenced by the fact that he was prepared to confess to a murder which he said he perpetrated at the age of 13 in the New Forest. A crime that, in fact, never occurred at all. This was a desperate attempt to preserve his relationship with Lizzie James. The accused was then sent a highly explicit tape made by James containing references to male domination, group sex, the use of a knife by a man to heighten sexual excitement. It was scarcely surprising thereafter. The accused spoke of a knife in that context. Though I keep in mind the policewoman was acting under orders, this cannot excuse the instigation of this sort of stratagem. I would be the first to acknowledge the very great pressures on the police in pursuit of this grave inquiry. But I'm afraid that this behaviour betrays not merely an excess of zeal, but a substantial attempt to incriminate a suspect by positive and deceptive conduct of the grossest kind.
Daytime outside the Old Bailey. As Stagg exits the Old Bailey, he is immediately mobbed by journalists.
Furthermore, the notion that a psychological profile is in any circumstance admissible proof of identity is, to my mind, redolent with considerable danger. Consequently, this material and all that pertains to it is excluded from the case. Does the prosecution have any other evidence with which to offer?
No, my lord, we do not.
Then I return a formal verdict of not guilty. The accused is free to go.
Edda and Wickerson exit the court with Rachel's parents following them, crying and upset. Stagg emerges from a different door, followed by a swarm of press. With him are his lawyers, Diane, Lee, Carol, his mother, Mrs. Carr, and Dave Carr, her partner. As Stagg and his escorts push their way through to his waiting taxi, the extremely hostile crowds jeer at him.
Hey, you murderer!
Fuck you!
Why your bollocks up to the
You're gonna get yours, murderer!
Burn in hell. In the murder of Rachel Nickell, a crime of which I am completely innocent.
Fucking murderer! They should hang you, Stag!
You'll get yours! You'll burn in hell! Get yours!
I know! They find you guilty and burn in hell! Murderer!
We cut to Hotel Suite, London. Pop, Douglas Jones opens a bottle of champagne. Also present are Kirsty, William Clegg, QC, Diane, Colin's mother, and Dave Carr, along with Colin's brother Lee and his wife Carol. Mrs. Carr attempts to group everyone for a group photo, with Dave producing a camera from his jacket.
Come on,
Did it,
everyone.
bruv? You're free.
Come on, everyone. Let's have a picture.
The papers will love this, mate.
Excuse me, how do you mean?
Well, I said I'd take a picture, like for the Sun.
No, thank you. There'll be no pictures without mine or Colin's express permission. We've signed agreements with certain people in the press to do an exclusive story with them, and anyone party to anything outside that would make us in breach of that agreement. They're paying for all this too, as I might add. He's doing a couple of other interviews for ITN, and that is it.
Oh, well, thanks a lot, Colin.
What? Yeah. Worried you can't get your money now?
Come on, let's go. Bye,
Come on,
Colin.
Let's go.
Forget about her, Colin. She's never going to change.
Diane opens the minibar and offers Colin a miniature whiskey bottle, which he promptly downs in one swig. Diane gives Colin a kiss, the phone wedged under her chin as she debates calling reception.
We've got the place all to ourselves, Colin, tonight. Can we order from room service?
Order anything you want. It's all being paid for by the paper.
Still can't believe I'm free.
Are you sure about her, Colin? I mean, she could just be after your money, and some people just get attracted by fame, good or bad.
No. She's not like that.
Okay, if you're sure. Now, I think we should look at filing a suit against Paul Britton, or at the very least try and get him struck off by the psychological counsel.
Do you think that's really possible?
He was the man pulling all the strings. I'll set things in motion and we'll see what happens, okay?
Colin, you can forget about that now, mate. You can get on with your life.
It's on the TV.
Found not guilty today when the judge ruled out the evidence of an undercover operation the police had used to try and gain a confession from the accused Colin Stagg. The murdered girl's father had this to say.
The report cuts to Rachel's father, Rachel Nickell, outside the court reading a statement.
Why has the situation arisen when society seems to care more for the criminal and less for the victim and their families? Stagg now walks free. But where is the justice? I understand the police are no longer, the police will now keep the file of my daughter's murder open. They are not looking for anyone else.
Piss off, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Odd. Do you think the police told him to say that?
Almost certainly.
Well, we'd better be off, Colin. We'll go over the details of the News of the World contract tomorrow. And remember, all of you, do not talk to the press.
We cut to Paul Britton's office reception, Nottingham. Paul Britton arrives into his reception to the sound of ringing phones and a very stressed secretary.
Hold, please. I've got the Daily Mail on the phone. They rang 3 times already this morning about the Stagg case, wanting a statement from you. Shall I tell them you call them back?
Refer them to the police.
Well, I've done that already. And your wife called. There's press at her works too.
Oh, for God's sake.
We go inside Britton's office, Nottingham. With the phone still ringing, Britton sits placing the newspaper out in front of him. The headline in bold reads, Rachel, case collapses. Fantasy justice. Who's in the dock now? Underneath, there is a picture of Britton, Pedder, and a photo of Stagg leaving the court a free man. We cut to a hotel bedroom, London, night. Diane is in bed, asleep, snoring. Colin, dressed only in his boxer shorts, sits upright in bed, unable to sleep. He wanders through to the lounge where a large window affords a view of the nighttime streets of London. On the table in the room are several newspapers with headlines about the case, none of them too complimentary. Where is the justice? On the Daily Express. It stinks in the Daily Star. And on the Daily Mail, a picture of Alex with the words, the child who still waits for justice. Colin goes to light a cigarette, looking at the city through the window. Moments later, Diane appears behind him, taking another cigarette from the packet. She puts her arm around Colin and gives him a kiss.
You sleep?
I'm just enjoying the view. It's a big improvement of the one I've had in the last 3 months.
There's no drink left in the minibar. Better order something more from room service. You ready for round 3 then?
Yeah, sure. In a minute.
Colin takes a moment to breathe in the air of freedom, looking across the city before returning to bed.
We cut to the incident room, a Wimbledon police station day. The whole investigation team, minus Wickerson and Pedder, are sitting quietly at their desks, watching the television showing Stagg being interviewed by Joan Thurkettle for ITN.
Mr. Stagg, did you kill Rachel Nickell?
No, I did not. I believe all life is sacred and couldn't hurt an insect, let alone a human being. I feel sorry for the Nickell family. But don't be angry with me. Be angry at the police who set me up and let the real murderer go free.
Oh, shut up, you fucking arsehole.
Absolutely.
Oh,
wanker.
Twat.
Guys, look, I don't know. Maybe we did get it wrong. Maybe he's still out there.
Abruptly, the Deputy Assistant Commissioner and another uniformed officer leaves Pedder's office, followed by a somber-faced Pedder and Wickerson.
So, what's happening, boss?
Some of you will be returned to other duties and assigned to other teams from tomorrow. The case is under internal review. I'm off to the pub.
Pedder exits. Wickerson lingers for a moment.
Gov, maybe we should be looking at some other leads. Chase up on other suspects.
What other leads, huh? What suspects? Everyone else we investigated had an alibi for the day of the murder.
We cut to outside the Alton estate, Roehampton. Colin and Diane are walking towards Colin's flat, carrying some shopping. Every single person they pass stops to give them a second glance. On the corner are the same group of teenagers that we've seen before. They all stop and stare, but are taken aback when Diane shouts at them.
What the fuck are you lot looking at, you bunch of toe rags?
Just leave it. Come on. It's only up here.
Walking on, Colin spots Lillian Avid across the road.
Oh, they wouldn't have been letting murders out in my time, I can tell you.
In your day, they'd hanged Timothy Evans and he was bleeding innocent! Fucking old bag!
We cut to daytime, outside Colin Stagg's flat on the Alton estate. Reaching the flat, they find the police have put grills on the doors and windows. On the front, graffiti has been daubed with the word murderer written in large letters. Further along the walkway, Cheryl Lewis appears.
I did tell him to put welcome home, but the kids around here aren't very good spellers.
Hello, Colin. Welcome back, mate. Here, can I give you a hand with that?
Oh, it doesn't look like we can get in, to be honest. But, this Cheryl, this is Diane, my girlfriend.
Oh, girlfriend, eh? Well, you didn't waste any time, did you? Nice to meet you, Diane. Here, Cole, I'll go and call Rich and see where he's put the bolt cutters. I won't be a tick, yeah?
So who was she then?
Oh, Cheryl's my neighbour. She testified at my hearing. Why?
Nothing. I just thought I had another woman to compete with for a minute.
She's married and she's one of the few people around here who actually believed I was innocent.
We cut to evening inside Stagg's flat on the Alton estate. As Colin and Diane wander into the lounge, he tries to flick on the lights, but the electricity's been cut off.
Hang on a second.
Colin returns from the kitchen with a torch, turning it around to reveal the flat has been a complete wreck.
Locals do this.
No, it would have been the police. I'm sorry, it's a bit of a come down from the hotel, isn't it?
At least they left the old guitar.
On the floor lies Colin's guitar. He heads up the stairs.
Any luck?
I think there might be some candles in the bedroom. No, we can't sleep up here. There's mattress has been ripped.
There's someone at the door. In an instant, Colin moves Diane behind him and grabs the nearest weapon. A little old lady enters, carrying a portable gas stove and a bag full of candles. It's Mrs. Short, who we first saw on the estate past Colin on the day of the murder.
Colin, are you there?
Mrs. Short.
Yes, Colin, it's only me. I heard you were coming back today. I brought you something to cook on, and I've got some candles here for you.
Are a lifesaver.
Not everyone around here thinks Colin's guilty then.
Colin, kill someone? I've known this boy since he was a little lad. He could no more hurt someone than I could stand on my head. Everything they've been writing in their papers, Colin, it's a disgrace. Anyway, I'd best get going. I don't like being out after dark these days. There's other kids around here would not think twice about robbing an old lady. I'll leave you with a young lady. Diane, isn't it?
Yeah, how did you know?
Oh, you're both in all the papers now, love.
We cut to daytime in the incident room, Wimbledon police station. The investigation room looks empty. Pedder is boxing up his personal items. Wickerson enters.
Thought I'd drop by, maybe take you for a pint, eh? I'm sorry it turned out like this, Keith. God, I wish we'd...
Look, working for SI11 will do me some good. A change of scene, as it were. Do you know who's taking over?
Yeah, I heard they've asked DSI Tompkins. Yeah, you heard about Stagg the other day, I take it?
Yeah, he attacked someone on the common with an axe or something.
Well, he claims some guy called him and his wife to be a pair of murderers, and he attacked them. Well, when Stagg gave him some verbal back, turned out she was armed with a kosh. They both got done for assault. We could have used that in court if that geezer hadn't had a bloody record of his own.
What was the outcome?
Guilty of assault and a fine. We couldn't do much more than that, really, not without looking overzealous. I heard our friend Lizzie James isn't doing so well.
Oh?
Yeah, well, apparently she's done nothing but admin duties since she got back to SO10.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that we could all have something to look forward to like that.
The brass and the CPA authorised this operation. It's down to them. It's not down to us.
Yeah, but I don't see them taking any of the flack for this down the line, do you? No. You know how the review goes. I heard they appointed Bill Isley to conduct it. He's going to be answerable to our new assistant commissioner, the very man who gave us the authorisation for this undercover operation in the first place.
Yeah, trust me, that irony is not lost on me. I expect you'll be hearing enough about the findings soon, eh?
Oh, yeah. I expect I will.
See you around, boss. It's been good, mate. Listen, we'll keep in touch, yeah?
Gonna miss you around here, boss.
Cheers.
So sorry, Gov. See you soon, yeah?
Oh, Gov, it's just not fair, boss. No one could have worked any harder for a result.
I'll still be around. Keep me updated, Rebecca. You'll get him.
Pedder looks over the photo of Stagg next to the e-fit still pinned to the inquiry information board, then leaves.
We cut to Battersea Dogs Home, South London. Colin and Diane are shown to the cage containing brandy. On seeing Stagg, she immediately leaps up, dancing around with excitement. As soon as she's let out, she is upon Colin, almost knocking him over.
Oh, girl, hello. I missed you. I missed you too. Did you miss me? Good girl.
There you have two ladies competing for your affection.
We go outside Battersea Dogs Home. As Colin and Diane leave the dogs home, a photographer jumps out and takes a picture of them both.
Christ, haven't you people got anything better to do?
We cut to Richmond Park. Colin and Diane are walking hand in hand with Brandy over the park.
I take it you haven't gone back to Wimbledon Common since that nutter had a go at us.
Oh, it's only at the crack of dawn when there's no one else around. Too much hassle otherwise.
So what are you going to do with that money from the News of the World interview then?
I'll probably give some to my family. I think I'll donate some to the RSPCA and buy a few new things for the house, I suppose.
You can get a new bed for starters.
Oh, going to be needing one, are we?
Once I move in, I'm sure we'll make good use of it.
Diane gives him a quick kiss and they walk on, smiling. We cut to Rachel's tree, Wimbledon Common. Keith Pedder takes the same path that Rachel was murdered on 2 years earlier. He comes upon a silver birch tree which is covered in long dead bunches of flowers. Pedder pauses for a moment before moving on. We cut to a pub in Southfields, South London. Colin and Diane enter a busy pub in Southfields. Colin picks up a menu and begins to read it, drawing the attention from a man seated at the bar as he does so.
I know you. You're that bastard. You stabbed that girl right to death on a common. You, me, outside, now.
Several people in the pub stop talking, all turning round to the commotion and recognise Colin at once.
I think you had better leave, mate.
Like hell we will. We've as much right to drink in here as anyone.
And it's my name above the licence, and I'm asking you to leave.
The case was thrown out, for fuck's sake!
We don't want any trouble, okay? We'll go. We'll go.
We cut to outside of the pub. Colin and Diane walk at a pace along the street.
Come on, hurry up, Diane.
Why do we have to be the ones to leave? Why didn't they throw him out?
Because they don't think that he killed anyone, that's why. Look, I've only been out a few weeks. It's because all the stories, they keep coming on. As soon as the papers lose interest, so will they, all right?
I sure hope so. Let's find an off licence, say.
We cut to the Alton Estate Tower flats, inside Colin's flat. Colin approaches a door. He hesitates, then knocks. Shortly after, a woman's voice is heard on the other side of it.
Who is it?
Is Colin? Colin Stagg?
The door opens and Colin is greeted by Lee Ashley, who has an air of class about her. We've seen her before at the trial and on the estate.
Miss Ashley, you wrote to me while I was in prison.
Yeah. Come in and call me Lee, please. Now, what can I get you to drink?
We cut to the inside of Lee Ashley's flat. Lee Ashley's flat is nicely decorated. The taste is old-fashioned with furniture and ornaments from a bygone era. She's very much a middle-class lady, living in lower-class quarters that have been spruced up to her standards.
Well, I'll have a scotch or a brandy if you have one. Thanks. I didn't want to take up too much of your time.
No, don't be silly. Sit down and let me take your coat.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, as I was saying, I really wanted to come round just to say thanks. For all your letters and the stamps and the shirts, well, everything really.
I knew you didn't do it, Colin. Not everyone around here reads everything or believes anything they read in the Daily Mail.
No, just 90% of people. But you were a real lifeline. I don't know how I could ever repay you. You'd have to come to the wedding, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I saw that you had a new girlfriend. I did wonder why you kept on asking me for those stamps all the time.
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't worry. I'm old enough to be your mum. So when's the big day?
Next summer, I think. I don't know. She wants to have it as soon as possible.
You don't sound so sure about it.
I'm not.
What's making you hesitate?
We've had so much hassle lately. She thinks that everyone's against us. And most of the time, she's not wrong, but she can be so abrupt with people, and she's upsetting, the few friends I do have, and believe me, that's not very many.
Well, it can't be easy, but she must have known what she was letting herself in for. Still, it will all die down eventually.
I'm not so sure. We've been burgled just last week, and we've had the windows broken God knows how many times. Eggs thrown at the house, death threats, he works, you name it. I guess I'm just more used to it than she is.
Well, she just has to learn to develop a thick skin for these kind of things.
The only thing she's developing right now is a dependency on alcohol.
Oh, well, that's not so good.
I told her I wanted to invite you over for Christmas dinner, and she's all like, oh, well, only if she brings a bottle. Seriously, though, I would love you to come.
I'd love to, and of course I'll bring a bottle. I thought you came across well in that interview you both did for the News of the World.
So did I. It didn't seem to make any difference, though, did it? We get more hate mail than we did before. Some of it's really nasty, too.
Can't the police do anything?
No, they won't lift a finger, not even with the vandals.
Oh, the press seem to be able to print anything these days. Still, I imagine that you got a decent pay from that interview you did.
I gave away quite a fair bit of it, mostly to charities and families. I don't know why I bother with my mum, My brother Lee was the only one that's really been there for me.
Yeah, I remember seeing you and your dad walking across the common when you were younger. He always seemed like such a nice man.
He was, yeah. I'm just glad he wasn't around to see all this.
Well, I'm sure if he was, he'd be your staunchest supporter.
You'd be a very close second.
Oh, 2 unexpected visitors in one day. Lucky one.
That'd be Diane wondering where I've gotten off to. I'd better be off.
We cut to Wimbledon Job Centre, South London. Colin is queuing patiently to sign on. He has his baseball cap pulled down to avoid being recognised. The unemployment office worker, 20s, sounds bored.
Next, please. Oh. Mr. Colin Stagg, is it?
Yep.
And you're here to sign on?
Yeah, it's all there. I'm looking for work though, so if you've got anything for me.
What did you spend the money on from the newspaper payout you received?
Payout? Well, I haven't got any left, if that's what you mean.
I see. What type of car do you own?
I own one. I'm just here to sign on, mate, or would you like a breakdown of my electrical appliances as well?
Sign here. So, I understand they still intend to catch him. The killer, that is.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sure they will. You can go away now. Next!
Stagg exits and heads out the door.
Wanker.
We cut today on the street of the Alton estate, Roehampton. Diane and Colin are walking through the estate when they bump into Suzanne. Her and Colin exchange a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Diane looks on in anger.
Oh, hiya, Colin. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Good to see you looking so well.
Yeah, no, Suzanne, this is my girlfriend, Diane.
Oh, hiya, how are you? Oh, it's really nice to finally meet you.
Right.
I heard about the verdict. Well, that's good news, isn't it?
Thanks, and thanks so much for the letters as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, you two should come over for a Christmas drink sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Diane deliberately moves in between them.
Anyway, come on then, Colin. We have to get home. Brandy hasn't eaten yet.
So anyway, Colin, I'll see you around. Have a good Christmas.
Yeah. You too. Bye, see ya. Diane, what the fuck was that?
Who is she?
She is a friend on the estate, and in case you didn't notice, I haven't got that many left, and I won't have any more if you carry on like that.
You was flirting with her and making me look bad.
That is the first time I've seen her since getting out. Are you going to speak like that to every woman I say hello to, or she have so far? Oh, come on, let's go home. Get a drink. Christ.
We cut to Colin Stagg's flat, Alton Estate. It is December the 20th, 1994. A deluge of post comes through the door, and Diane runs down the stairs to collect it. She shouts up to Colin.
Colin, we've got a lot of Christmas cards this morning.
Diane begins to rip them open. The first has a card with a photocopied photo of Diane glued on the front, around which is drawn dripping blood and the words in red marker, "The murderous fat whore girlfriend."
Oh, Colin.
She opens it, and inside is written, "We hope you both die, you bitch." With horror in her face, her attention is drawn to the rest of the envelopes in her hands, several of which have crudely written handwriting, all more hate mail.
Colin! Colin!
Colin comes running down the stairs, and seeing the cards, he understands immediately. He gives Diane a hug. We cut to Stagg's dining room, Alton Estate. It's evening, and it's Christmas Day, made self-evident by the dinner that is laid out in the dining table. Seated are Colin, his brother Lee, his wife Carol, Lee Ashley, and one of Colin's neighbours, Mike. Diane enters the room with a half-drunk bottle of brandy.
Got to ignore it, Colin. If you get upset over these letters, you're giving them exactly what they want.
It's hard to ignore a card from someone who wants to kill you.
I shouldn't take it that seriously, Diane. These people are usually cowards. They're just making empty threats.
It's easy for you to say living up at the top of the tower block. You don't have your windows smashed in every few weeks. Give us a top up.
Shouldn't mix your drinks, babe.
It's Christmas Day. It's not going to kill me for this once, is it?
It hasn't been just this once, though, has it? Come on, you promised me you're going to cut down.
You can always come and stay with me, Diane, for a few days. Get some decent sleep for a week.
Really? You sure?
Yeah, if it helps both of you, I'd happily pay host. I don't mind.
Thanks so much. I know what you mean. Lee, that is so kind, isn't it, Diane?
Yeah, thanks. Shall I fill my own glass or do I have to get another bottle from the kitchen?
Diane goes to fill her glass, but Colin wraps the bottle in his hand and doesn't let her take it. Like a spoiled child, she storms off into the kitchen in search of more alcohol.
Sorry about that. Those cards, they've really upset her, you know, and she's just not dealing with it all too well.
She won't find the answer at the bottom of the bottle.
She's not wrong, though. Sometimes when we go out, I tell you, if looks could kill, we'll be dead 10 times over. Sometimes she wants me to carry something in case we get jumped.
I don't think that's a good idea, Colin. You could get done for carrying an offensive weapon. Plus, look what happened last time. I mean, I honestly don't know what you were thinking.
Well, I suppose I could just get done in by some nutter who thinks he's doing the public a favour then, couldn't I?
So, otherwise, how's it all going between you and her?
Yeah, okay, she wants to set a date.
What? For the wedding? God, it's a bit soon for that, isn't it?
It's not soon enough for her.
You're married, Colin.
Yeah.
He is, yeah, but she's going to track him down and get a divorce.
Well, the papers are going to make mincemeat out of both of you. Especially if you do it round here. There's going to be no hiding it from him.
Yeah, well, you'll have to be in a registry job, won't you? I can't afford anything else.
Where's the corkscrew?
Lee Ashley points to it on the dinner table. Colin removes it, placing it in his lap, and then shouts back to her.
I don't know. It's got to be in there somewhere. There's some Coke in the fridge.
I don't want a bleeding Coke unless I have a bleeding vodka to go with it.
Are you sure you want to go through with this, Colin?
No, but I was going to ask you that if I do, would you be my best man?
Oh, Colin, I mean, I doubt Lee's going to get the time off work, will you, Lee? He's been really busy at the moment, so...
Well, I'm sure I could book it off. Yeah, of course. I'll be honoured to, mate.
Great. Well, if it happens, it's good to know I can count on you.
Carol looks extremely pissed off. Diane comes back into the lounge with a bottle sealed in Christmas wrapping paper.
Oh, well, I'll just have to open this then. It better not be a mixer.
You know what really gets to me, right, is I bet every bloke has got his secret porn stash hidden away somewhere, like, I don't know, under his mattress. He's been on a date with some girl that didn't work out. She'd be happy to slag him off if the papers come calling, especially if she thinks she could make a few quid out of it.
Some girls are weird too. Like, I saw this one bird once, right? And she was into this whole choking shit. You know, like she proper got off on it. And then she wanted me to hit her around the face. How messed up is that?
Well, the youth of the day get up to some strange things. I was just lucky enough to get a peck on the cheek.
When did you see this girl?
Oh, it was before we met, babe.
Plus, what bloke isn't going to write dirty letters to some fit bird if he thinks he can get a shag out of it? I'm sorry, Colin. You know what I'm saying, though, don't you?
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
Plus, I bet you could knock on half the doors round here. You could find they got some book on tarot cards, claim they're into the occult, look through a guy's little black book, find an ex-girlfriend who feels she's got scores to settle with him or whatever, call her up. She says he knocked her about, and boom, you got your suspects.
I never hit anyone about in my life.
No, Colin, I know you wouldn't do that. All I'm saying is that's how easy it is for the police, the press, or that cupid stunt of a doctor to mould you into whatever they want to fit the profile of their suspect. God, you should see my brother. I mean, he still collects action men. He paints Airfix kits. His porn collection is bigger than Encyclopedia Britannica. I bet they translate that into that he's sexually frustrated and he's got an unhealthy obsession with the military.
Still single, are you then, Mike?
I'm here with you lot, aren't I?
I could never get those bloody things to look like they're supposed to on the box. I just didn't have the patience.
Oh, that would be it then, wouldn't it, Colin? You know, the media say it's all your pent-up anger from your failed Airfix constructions. That obviously makes you a prime suspect as a murderer.
Oh, don't tell Paul Britton. He'll probably use it as a theory on his next case. He's still working on them, you know.
Don't worry, Colin. Once the press lose interest, people will just forget about you.
We cut to daytime inside a South London pub in Wimbledon. A female Daily Mail journalist sits in a discreet corner of the pub with D.S. Williams, who is sipping a pint.
So, my readers would like to know why you lot screwed up and let a guilty man go free. I mean, that's if you're still sure he's guilty. Are you still sure?
Of course we are. The slimy bastard only got off on a bloody technicality.
I heard your undercover officer taking part in operation has been on sick leave. for some time?
Well, I don't know about that. She didn't have any issues dealing with the case itself. In fact, she was determined to be the one who got Stagg convicted.
And Pedder?
Oh, he's moved over to intelligence, SO11, that lot.
Punishment or promotion?
Well, let you be the judge of that, but from what I hear, he spent most of his time stuck behind the desk, admin duties, all that bollocks, you know how it is. He did say he's been thinking of writing a book on the case, when he retires, that is.
Really? I shall be sure to get myself a copy. First Bassett, now him. This case does rather seem to be leaving a trail of ruined careers in its wake, don't you think?
Hold on. Bassett was due to retire anyway.
Unfortunate timing for him then. That the Nickell case, an unsolved murder, should be his last.
That's hardly his fault, is it?
Are they Met pursuing any other suspects?
No, but look, like I said before, Stagg is our man. We just can't prove it at the moment. And that's why we need the press to keep him in the public eye, keep the pressure on him. I mean, the prick's bound to slip up sooner or later, isn't it? And the last thing we would want is for the murderer of Rachel Nickell to go free. Wouldn't want that to happen, would we?
No, we wouldn't.
We cut to daytime in the lounge of Colin Stagg's flat on the Alton estate. It's May 1995. Diane is sprawled out on a sofa, wearing rather unflattering clothes. Colin sits in the armchair, a copy of the Daily Mail with an article open with the headline, "Rise of the Nobody," lies on the table. There's a knock at the door. Diane doesn't even blink from watching the TV.
I'll get it then, shall I?
It's not going to be for me, is it? I ain't got any friends around here.
No, that's true enough.
Ask who it is first. If anything happens to you, I don't want to be left homeless, do I?
Chance to be a fine thing.
Colin opens to find Lee Ashley carrying a bottle of scotch and a bag of shopping.
I see you've had the window fixed then.
Yeah, 4th time this year already. It's only Lee.
What does she fucking want?
Brought us some shopping.
Yeah, well, I know how hard it is with you being unable to get a job now and Diane signing on, so I thought I'd get you a few things.
Lee enters with Colin assisting her with the bags. Diane is quick to grab the bottle and pour herself a glass.
Thanks, Lee. Sorry about that. I thought you were someone else.
Well, I wasn't going to be staying for long anyway. Colin, would you mind to walk me back to the block?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Don't be too long and pick me up some more cigarettes.
It's dusk outside on the street of the Alton estate. Lee Ashley and Colin walk back to her tower block.
You know, I love Diane, Colin, but she has no idea how to speak to people, and she's alienating people on the estate, the people who stood by you all this time.
I know. No one wants to come round anymore.
I think you should think very carefully about what you're marrying into. It's supposed to be for life. And if that's what you're marrying into...
She promised to cut down drinking once we're married.
Do you really think she will do that?
I don't know, but now she's got a divorce through. There's no stopping her, so...
Well, I think that you need to ask yourself if you truly want to spend the rest of your life with her, because if you don't, you should be prepared to lose her.
It's just, I don't think I can handle being on my own again. Not right now. I keep thinking things will be fine for us, and then when everything gets back to normal, then it just seems to calm down. The bloody Mail go and do another front page, Stagg the weirdo, and the story seems to remind all the people that had forgotten about us to come back round again and give our windows another go. Look, at least planning the wedding, it's keeping her mind off things for a while, you know, and well, she seems to be keeping most of it for me to do. But you will come though, right? Won't you?
Yeah, of course I will. And you're bound to need help organising it anyway.
That's the understatement of the year.
We cut to daytime in the lounge of Colin Stagg's flat on the Alton estate. It's August 1995. Colin is in the kitchen, pouring the contents of a large whiskey bottle down the sink. He heads to the garden. Diane comes staggering down the stairs, looking the worse for wear. She finds the empty bottle of whiskey.
Colin, did you drink all that bloody whiskey? You could have saved me some. Thanks a lot.
We cut to daytime on the steps to the back door of Colin Stagg's garden. Dressed smartly, Colin sits out back. His demeanour is more of a man going to his own funeral rather than to his wedding.
I thought you'd have enough last night. Christ. I think I needed it more than you did this morning.
The phone starts to ring and simultaneously there's a knock at the door.
Colin, get the bloody door!
We cut today outside Stagg's flat. Colin grabs the phone in the hallway and opens the door for Lee Ashley, who enters carrying a bouquet and laundry.
Don't mind me. Let me just give these to Diane.
I'm up here!
Hello?
We cut to Lee Stagg's sitting room, Lee's house. Lee is on the phone with his wife Carol nearby.
Colin, it's me, bruv. Look, I'm sorry, but I can't do it.
Can't do it? Can't do what?
I can't do the wedding, mate. It's all over the news. It's on the telly. Apparently, there's an army of press down the registry office already.
So what? We knew this was coming.
Well, it's just that Carol think. Well, I mean, we think that, you know, if my picture appears with you in the paper, then we might both become targets.
Is she standing right next to you now?
You got it, mate. Listen, bruv, I'm really sorry. But good news. I phoned Buddy from school and he says he's going to do it and he's going to meet you there.
Buddy? What, Martin Butler, as in Arse Blaster? Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, it's better than nothing, isn't it?
We cut back to Colin Stagg's flat in the lounge. Colin waits at the bottom of the stairs for Diane with the front door open, where outside a white stretch limo is waiting for them. Mike and Richard Lewis are with him.
It's a nice job with the car, Mike.
That's a mates. Didn't tell him what I was borrowing it for, though. Cheryl's gone on ahead. Yeah, where's Di?
She's just coming down.
Right, better get down to town hall and make sure. At least the chaos down there is slightly better organised. Hey, good luck, mates.
Cheers.
Just as Richard leaves, Diane comes down the stairs, dressed in a matching white top, skirt, shoes, and holding a bouquet.
You look great, Di.
Thanks, so do you.
Oh, your chariot awaits.
Right, Lee, you better stay here and look after Brandy.
That'd be daft. He's coming to the wedding with us.
Diane! How can you ask Lee not to come to the wedding? She organised the whole thing.
But we can't bring Brandy with us. Someone has to stay behind and look after her.
I'm not taking you two anywhere if Lee isn't coming to the wedding. You got that?
She is coming, all right? Brandy will be fine. For God's sake, Diane.
But it's supposed to be just you and me in the back, Colin.
Well, Lee can ride up front with me then.
We cut to daytime outside Wandsworth Town Hall. As the limo pulls up, press immediately swarm around it. Colin is greeted by Jack Butler, 31, on the stairs of the town hall as he emerges. Colin looks a little bit confused.
Jack, where's your brother?
Sorry, Colin. His missus had a go at him, told him not to come, so I didn't want to see you left in the lurch, said I would step into the breach, if that's okay, mate.
No, sure, thanks, Jack. Thank you.
Mr. Stagg, do you have anything to say to the parents of Rachel Nickell?
No, he hasn't. He's bloody getting married. Now get out of our way, you dozy prat.
Ah, Mr. Stagg, all this commotion, we're not really used to that sort of thing here. There's still time to cancel if you'd rather delay.
Well,
Not a chance. Lead the way.
With Mike and Jack's help, Lee Ashley, Colin and Diane walk up the stairs into the town hall. We cut to police officer Keith Pedder's home, southeast London. Keith Pedder arrives back from work, comes into the lounge and switches on the TV, cracking open a beer. The television show Richard and Judy is on, with the host talking to Andre Hanscom, the boyfriend of Rachel Nickell.
I can only imagine how difficult things must have been for you and your son.
See, the hardest thing for us is knowing the killer is still out there and that he might kill again. The sight of Colin Stagg being released from the Old Bailey was as worse for me than Rachel's mother.
You said it.
Daytime outside Wandsworth Town Hall. Mr. and Mrs. Stagg exit the building to the shouts of reporters and are quickly whisked away in the limo.
Mr. Stagg!
Can't believe the gall of this fucking bloke. Look at him, just getting on with his life.
Still think you did it then?
Yeah, of course I did, don't you?
Oh, yes. Don't you worry. We'll make sure everyone knows it too.
End of episode 4. The 5th and final episode of Persecution, the trial of Colin Stagg, will be streamed live next week, Sunday the 8th of November at 2 p.m. UK time, immediately followed at around 3:10 by a live question and answer session with the creative cast and crew.